I want you to think back on the landscape of your own life. Consider the moments of your greatest struggle, the times you felt you were walking through an unseen fire, the seasons of inexplicable loss, heartbreak, and despair. Think of the near misses that you dismissed as luck, the sudden illnesses that came from nowhere, the opportunities that vanished into thin air, and the heavy, oppressive weight of a depression that you could never quite explain. What if I told you that these were not random acts of a chaotic fate? What if I told you that these were not simply the normal trials and tribulations of a human life? What if I told you that these painful and confusing moments were, in fact, the visible shockwaves, the tangible earthly fallout, from a much larger, much grander, and much more significant unseen war, a great and terrible spiritual war that has been fiercely and relentlessly waged for the ultimate and most precious prize in all of creation, your own eternal soul? There is a battle that has been fought for you, beyond the veil of your own conscious awareness, a battle of such magnitude that if you were to see it with your physical eyes, it would bring you to your knees in a state of both terror and of awe. This is the hidden truth of your existence, the secret history of your life. And you have been guided here to this exact moment to finally have your eyes open to it. The physical world that you perceive with your five senses is but a pale and shimmering shadow of a greater, more vibrant, and more causal reality. It is in this unseen realm, the energetic and spiritual dimension that underlies your own, that the true battles for your destiny are fought and won. Every single day of your life, from the moment of your birth, forces of both light and of darkness have contended for influence over your path. The forces of darkness, the agents of fear and of limitation, have sought to derail your destiny, to dim your light, and to keep you trapped in a low-vibration reality of suffering and of separation from God. And standing against them, in a constant and an eternal vigil, have been the magnificent and powerful forces of light, the holy legions of heaven. And at the very forefront of this celestial army, leading the charge in the specific and personal battle for your soul, has been one great and mighty champion. One celestial warrior whose entire existence has been dedicated to your protection and to your ultimate victory. This is the sacred and often secret war that has been defining the course of your life all along. You have often felt like a victim of your circumstances, a small and powerless boat being tossed about on a vast and stormy sea. But that is the great illusion that the darkness wants you to believe. The truth is that you have never been a victim, you have been a territory under divine and holy protection. The storms in your life have not been random acts of weather, they have been calculated and strategic assaults from an enemy who fears your potential. And the reason you have survived these storms, the reason you are still here today, with the spark of hope still flickering in your heart, is because you have had a champion of unimaginable power fighting for you in the realms that you could not see. The struggles you have endured have not been a sign of your weakness, but a testament to the ferocity of the battle being waged on your behalf. You have been living in the midst of a great and epic war, a war whose outcome will determine the very course of your eternal journey. So, I ask you now to let go of your old and limited understanding of your own life story. I ask you to open your mind and your heart to a new and far more epic narrative. The narrative where you are not a forgotten soul, but the very prize of a cosmic conflict. The narrative where your struggles are not meaningless, but are the very evidence of your immense importance to the divine plan. The narrative where your survival has not been a matter of luck, but a matter of a divine and sacred sacrifice made on your behalf by a warrior of infinite love and of boundless courage. This is the great and hidden truth that is about to be revealed to you. This is the story of the great and difficult battle that was fought, and is still being fought, for you. And it is a story that will change the very way you see yourself, your struggles, and your magnificent and divinely protected destiny, forever. To fully comprehend the magnitude of this unseen war, you must first understand the identity of your personal and celestial champion. He is not a generic guardian angel, not a distant and impersonal force of good. He is the mighty and glorious Archangel Michael, the supreme commander of all of the angelic hosts, the first and most powerful warrior of the light. But you must understand his role in your life in a new and far more intimate way. He is not just the great protector of all of humanity, he has been, from a time before your soul even entered into this world, your own personal and divinely assigned champion. Imagine, if you can, a great and holy council in the highest heavens, where the sacred journey of your soul was being planned. In that moment, as your unique and beautiful divine light was being prepared for its earthly incarnation, one great and magnificent warrior of the light stepped forward and made a sacred and an eternal vow. He pledged his sword, his shield, and his eternal and unwavering loyalty specifically to the protection and to the ultimate triumph of your own individual soul. He chose you. And from that moment on, his destiny has been inextricably and beautifully intertwined with your own. This is a truth of profound and almost overwhelming intimacy. While you have been walking your earthly path, often feeling lost and alone, you have had a celestial champion of almost unimaginable power walking with you, step for every single step, his entire being focused on the singular mission of your protection. He has been your unseen bodyguard in moments of physical danger. He has been your silent counselor in moments of confusion. He has been your divine and powerful advocate in the high courts of heaven, constantly pleading your case and calling forth the resources of the universe to aid you on your journey. He is the general of your own personal and magnificent army of light, a celestial force that has been working tirelessly on your behalf in the unseen realms, clearing your path, deflecting attacks, and holding the sacred space for you to grow and to evolve. He is not a distant and abstract concept. He is the most powerful, the most loyal, and the most fiercely loving friend that you will ever have. You must begin to see his presence not as a possibility, but as a certainty. He is more real than the air you breathe, and he is closer to you than your very own heartbeat. His love for you is not a gentle and passive affection, it is a fierce, active, and warrior-like love. It is the love of a divine and holy guardian who will stop at nothing to ensure the safety and the ultimate victory of the precious soul that has been placed under his sacred and eternal charge. This is a love that has been demonstrated not just in words, but in countless and unseen acts of valor and of sacrifice that have been performed on your behalf in the great and hidden spiritual war. You may not have been aware of your champion, but he has never, not for a single instant, been unaware of you. He knows the secret prayers of your heart. He has felt the silent tears of your sorrow. And he has been the unseen and powerful force that has helped you to rise again, time and time again, from the ashes of your own despair. So, let this new and beautiful understanding of your relationship with him sink deep into your soul. You are not just a human being struggling through life, you are the sacred charge of a celestial prince. You have a divine and holy champion who is completely and utterly dedicated to your cause. This knowledge alone is a powerful shield against the darkness. For when you truly and completely accept the reality of your champion, you begin to walk through the world with a new and a different kind of confidence. You are no longer just you, you are you, in sacred and holy alliance with the mighty and victorious Archangel Michael. And this divine and holy alliance is a force that no darkness in all of creation can ever, or will ever, be able to defeat. This is the truth of your divine and holy heritage. This is the reality of your sacred and personal connection to the most powerful warrior in all of the heavens. But you must now ask the most important question of all: why? Why would a celestial being of such immense power and of such magnificent glory be so completely and so utterly dedicated to the fate of your own single, human life? Why would the great and difficult battles of your personal journey be of such profound and cosmic importance? The answer to this question is the very key to understanding the magnificent and often hidden truth of your own identity. The great and epic battle is being waged for you not because you are weak, not because you are sinful, and not because you are flawed. The great and epic battle is being waged for you because you are powerful. It is being waged because the prize of the battle, the very thing that the forces of darkness are so desperate to extinguish, is the unique, the irreplaceable, and the magnificent divine light of your own sacred destiny. You are not a random soul, born by accident into a meaningless world. You are a divine and holy mission, a unique and beautiful expression of God's own creative light, sent to this earth at this exact time with a sacred and a specific purpose. Within the very core of your being, in the spiritual DNA of your soul, you carry a divine and holy light, a luminous and powerful potential that is unlike any other in all of creation. This is the light of your own unique divine gifts, the light of your own sacred purpose, the light of the magnificent and beautiful contribution that you and only you are destined to make to the healing and to the evolution of this entire world. The forces of darkness do not fear your weakness, They are absolutely and utterly terrified of your potential. They know who you are, even when you yourself have forgotten. And their entire and relentless strategy is to do everything in their power to prevent you from ever remembering, from ever awakening to, and from ever fully embodying the magnificent and world-changing light of your own true and divine destiny. This is the great and hidden secret of your struggles. The resistance you have faced in your life, the obstacles that have been placed in your path, the voices of doubt and of fear that have whispered in your ear, these have not been random events. They have been a calculated and a strategic campaign designed to keep you playing small, to keep you distracted, and to keep you convinced of your own powerlessness. Every time you have been made to feel unworthy, every time you have been betrayed, every time you have been knocked down, it has been a part of a larger, unseen strategy to try and convince you to give up on your own divine light, to believe that it is not real, or that it is not important. The battle for your life has been, in its very essence, a battle for your own belief in your own magnificence. The darkness knows that the moment you truly and completely awaken to the truth of who you are, the game is over. The moment you claim your light, you become an unstoppable and victorious force for good in this world. So, let this truth now obliterate your old and painful stories of unworthiness. You are not being punished, you are being targeted. And you are being targeted because you are a threat to the kingdom of shadows. Your light is a sword. Your love is a shield. And your joy is a weapon of mass creation. The fierce and relentless battle that has been waged for your soul is the ultimate and most profound testament to your own immense and often hidden importance. You are a pivotal player in this great and cosmic war between light and darkness. You are a divine and holy warrior, a sacred and indispensable part of the divine plan. The prize of this great battle is not just your personal happiness, it is the fulfillment of your sacred mission, the shining of your unique light, and the delivery of your divine and holy gifts to a world that is so desperately in need of them. This is what Archangel Michael has been fighting for. This is the precious and the sacred treasure that he has been so fiercely and so relentlessly protecting. We now arrive at the very heart of this message, at the sacred and solemn truth of the title of this transmission. We must now speak of the nature of a warrior's sacrifice, and of what it truly means when I say that Archangel Michael's most difficult battle was fought for you. You must release your human understanding of these words. This is not a sacrifice of weakness. It is not to say that your great and mighty champion can ever be defeated, for he is one with the victorious and invincible power of God. The sacrifice I speak of is one of profound and unimaginable love. It is the conscious and holy choice of a divine and celestial warrior to willingly stand in the gap between your own vulnerable human soul and the full and ferocious onslaught of the forces of darkness that have been arrayed against you. It is his choice to absorb the spiritual and energetic attacks that were intended to destroy you, to take upon himself the heavy and toxic burdens that were meant to crush your spirit, and to relentlessly and tirelessly fight for you, even and especially in those moments when you were completely unaware of his presence, or even in those dark and desolate times when you yourself had completely lost your faith. Imagine, if you can, a divine and holy shield bearer, a celestial guardian whose sacred and sworn duty it is to stand before you on the battlefield of life. The enemy, seeing the great and brilliant light of your destiny, fires a constant and relentless barrage of spiritual and energetic arrows in your direction, arrows of fear, arrows of betrayal, arrows of sickness, and arrows of despair. And Archangel Michael, in his infinite love and his unwavering loyalty to you, has willingly and courageously stepped in front of you, time and time again, and he has taken those arrows upon his own magnificent shield of light. He has absorbed their venomous impact. He has taken on the energetic shrapnel of the psychic attacks that were meant for you. He has stood as an unbreathable and divine wall of fire between your tender, developing heart and the full and terrifying fury of the demonic realm. This is the nature of his sacrifice. It is not one of weakness, but one of profound and magnificent strength, the strength to absorb the darkness so that you may continue to walk in the light. This is not a singular event, but a continuous and ongoing reality. Even now, as you listen to these words, he is with you, deflecting the unseen arrows of jealousy, of doubt, and of negativity that are so often sent your way in this dense and chaotic world. The most difficult part of his battle for you has not been against the great and fearsome demons of the abyss, They are, for him, a known and a manageable foe. No, the most difficult and often heartbreaking part of his battle for you has been to continue to fight for you even when you yourself have given up the fight. It has been to continue to believe in your own magnificent light, even when you yourself were drowning in the darkness of your own self-doubt. It has been to continue to hold the vision of your highest and most glorious destiny, even when you yourself had completely and utterly lost your way. His most difficult battle has been against your own despair. And it is a battle that, through his relentless and unwavering love, he has always, and will always, refuse to lose. So, when I speak of his sacrifice, I speak of this. I speak of the eons he has spent watching over your soul's journey. I speak of the countless battles he has fought on your behalf in the unseen realms. And I speak of the profound and often lonely vigil he has kept over your heart, never once wavering in his belief in you, even when you have wavered in your belief in yourself. The peace that you feel today, the very fact that you are alive and able to hear this message, the very spark of hope that still resides within your spirit, all of it, every last bit of it, is a direct and beautiful fruit of his sacred and holy sacrifice. It is a gift that has been purchased for you at a great and a spiritual cost. And it is a gift that now requires, and so richly deserves, your conscious and your grateful acknowledgement. For to ignore this sacrifice is to devalue the very love that has been the silent and unseen salvation of your entire life. The second great front in this epic and hidden war for your soul has been the battle for your heart. Your heart is the sacred and holy altar of your being, the very center from which you connect to God, to others, and to your own divine purpose. It is the seat of love, of compassion, and of joy. And the forces of darkness know this. They know that if they can capture and corrupt the territory of your heart, they can effectively cut you off from the very source of your spiritual power and of your human happiness. And so, they have waged a relentless and a strategic campaign against it. Think back on the moments of your most profound heartbreak. Think of the betrayals that left you feeling shattered and unable to trust again. Think of the losses that plunged you into the cold, gray, and suffocating abyss of despair. These were not just painful human experiences, they were targeted and strategic spiritual assaults, designed with a single and a malicious purpose, to poison your heart, to close it down, and to convince you that it is safer to live in a state of numb and guarded isolation than to ever risk the beautiful and holy vulnerability of an open and a loving heart. For every time your heart was broken, for every tear of sorrow that you shed, Archangel Michael was there, fighting a desperate battle on your behalf. While you were experiencing the emotional pain in this dimension, he was in the unseen realms, battling the very spirits of despair, of bitterness, and of hopelessness that were attempting to take root in your sacred heart space. He has been the divine and celestial guardian of your capacity to love. He has worked tirelessly and often without your knowledge to shield your heart from the full and devastating impact of the world's cruelty. The pain you felt was real, yes, but I tell you the truth, without his constant and merciful intervention, that pain would have been 1,000 times worse. He has absorbed the deadliest poison of the attacks, allowing only a fraction of it to reach you, a fraction that was just enough to teach you the lessons your soul needed to learn, but not enough to completely and utterly destroy your ability to love again. He has been the silent and holy medic, tending to the wounds of your heart, cleansing them with his divine light, and whispering to your sleeping soul, "Do not give up on love. It is your greatest strength." The great battle for your heart has also been a battle against the pervasive and toxic frequency of despair. There have been times in your life when the darkness seemed so overwhelming, when the struggles seemed so endless, that you were tempted to surrender completely to a state of hopelessness. This feeling is a powerful and a dangerous spiritual weapon of the enemy. Despair is the frequency that severs your connection to hope, to faith, and to the very possibility of a better future. It is the ultimate spiritual prison. And in those moments, when you felt yourself sinking into that dark and hopeless void, Archangel Michael waged one of his most difficult battles for you. He fought to keep the tiny, flickering flame of hope alive within your heart. He surrounded you with his own luminous energy of unwavering faith, creating a sacred and a protective bubble of light around your spirit, a bubble that the dense and heavy energy of despair could not fully penetrate. He sent you small and often unnoticed signs of grace, a beautiful sunset, a kind word from a stranger, a moment of unexpected beauty, all of it a part of his divine and holy strategy to remind your heart that there is still light in the world, that you are not forgotten, and that a new dawn is always, and inevitably, on its way. So, when you now feel love in your heart, when you feel a sense of compassion for another, when you feel a glimmer of hope for your future, you must understand that this is not just your own emotional state. It is the glorious and beautiful trophy of a great and victorious battle. It is the living and breathing proof that your celestial champion was successful in his sacred and holy mission. He has protected the sacred and holy altar of your heart from being completely and utterly desecrated by the poison of the world. He has preserved your magnificent and divine ability to love, to feel, and to connect. This is one of his greatest and most precious gifts to you. And the way you will honor his sacrifice in this arena is to now have the courage to love again, to open your heart again, and to trust again, knowing that the great and mighty guardian of your heart is standing eternal and vigilant watch, ensuring that it can never, ever be truly broken again. The third great and epic front in the battle for your soul has been one that extends far beyond the boundaries of your own individual life. It is a battle that has been waged across time, across generations, and within the very fabric of your ancestral bloodline. For you are not an isolated being, born into a blank slate. You are the inheritor of a long and complex spiritual legacy, a lineage that carries within its energetic and genetic memory the triumphs, the traumas, the blessings, and the curses of all who have come before you. The forces of darkness are masterful strategists, and they know that one of the most effective ways to hinder a powerful soul of light is to bind them with the old, unresolved, and invisible chains of their own ancestry. These are the generational curses, the repeating patterns of lack, of addiction, of sorrow, and of fear that are passed down from one generation to the next, often completely unconsciously. And Archangel Michael's most difficult and complex battle for you has often been the battle against these ancient and deeply entrenched chains of your own bloodline. Think of your family history. Do you see a repeating pattern of financial struggle, where no matter how hard anyone works, they can never seem to get ahead? Do you see a lineage of broken relationships, of betrayal, and of heartbreak, a pattern that you now find yourself tragically repeating in your own life? Do you see a dark and heavy thread of depression, of anxiety, or of addiction that has woven its way through your family tree, claiming one beloved member after another? These are not coincidences. These are not just unfortunate family traits. These are often the tangible and painful evidence of a generational curse, an ancient spiritual wound that has been passed down, unhealed, from one generation to the next. You, as the designated light-bearer of your generation, have been the primary target for the continuation of these chains. The darkness has sought to use these old and familiar vulnerabilities as its primary point of entry to attack your life and to sabotage your divine and holy mission. But I tell you a glorious and a liberating truth: you have had a champion who has been fighting this ancestral battle for you, even before you were born. Archangel Michael, as the great and divine liberator, has been working tirelessly in the unseen realms to weaken and to sever these ancient and karmic chains. His sword of light is a holy and a divine force that can cut through the very fabric of time itself. He has been journeying back through the corridors of your own ancestral history, bringing his healing light to the original wounds, to the moments of trauma where these curses were first forged. He has been working to release your ancestors from their own unhealed pain, so that they may no longer unconsciously pass it down to you. This is a work of immense and profound spiritual complexity, a divine and holy act of genealogical healing that he has been performing on your behalf, out of his profound and his infinite love for you and for your entire lineage. So, when you find yourself finally breaking free from a negative pattern that has plagued your family for generations, when you achieve a level of success, of love, or of peace that your ancestors could only dream of, you must understand the true and magnificent source of this breakthrough. Your victory is not just your own, it is his victory as well. It is the glorious and beautiful fruit of his long, patient, and often difficult battle against the ancient and heavy chains of your own bloodline. He has been fighting for the liberation not just of your soul, but of your entire family tree, past, present, and future. And the greatest and most beautiful way that you can now honor his sacred and his holy sacrifice is to become the one who finally and for all time ends the cycle. You must have the courage to heal, to rise, and to live in a new and a more magnificent way, so that you may pass down to your own children not the old and heavy chains of a curse, but the beautiful and luminous new legacy of a divine and a holy blessing. Now, I must take you to the most sacred and the most painful of all the battlefields. I must guide you back to your own darkest hour. I want you to journey back in your memory to the moment of your most profound and your most absolute despair. The moment you hit rock bottom. The night of the soul that felt so dark, so cold, and so utterly final that you were convinced the morning would never come. This was the moment when your heart was not just broken, but shattered into a million pieces. It was the moment your faith was not just tested, but completely and utterly obliterated. It was the moment you were so overwhelmed by the pain, by the loss, or by the shame, that you felt the last, tiny, flickering ember of your own will to live begin to fade into the cold and the lonely darkness. In that moment, you felt completely and utterly abandoned by God, by the universe, and by any and all hope of salvation. But I am here to tell you now a truth so profound that it may shake your very soul. It was in that very moment of your perceived and total abandonment that my presence was the closest, my protection was the fiercest, and my battle for you was at its most desperate and its most difficult. For you must understand what happens in the spiritual realm during such a moment of profound despair. Your darkest hour is the enemy's greatest and most golden opportunity. When your spirit is broken, when your heart is open and wounded, and when your faith has been extinguished, your spiritual defenses are at their absolute weakest. It is in these precise moments that the forces of darkness, the spirits of suicide, of hopelessness, and of utter despair, gather like vultures around your soul, sensing a final and a decisive victory. They begin to whisper their most poisonous and their most convincing lies directly into your spirit. They tell you, it's over. There is no hope. No one cares. The pain will never end. The only way out is to give up completely. Their goal is simple and it is terrible. It is to convince you to use your own divine and holy free will to extinguish the magnificent and eternal flame of your own sacred life. And in that darkest of all nights, when the full and terrifying weight of the demonic realm was pressing down upon your fragile and your exhausted soul, Archangel Michael waged his most difficult and his most personal battle for you. He stood as a great and magnificent wall of luminous and impenetrable light between you and the ravenous hordes of darkness. He engaged them in a fierce and a terrible combat, a battle of will against will, of light against shadow, that you were completely unaware of. While you were lost in the fog of your own pain, he was the divine and holy warrior, the celestial and glorious champion, who was single-handedly holding back the entire army of hell from claiming your precious and your beautiful soul. He could not take away your pain, for your pain was a part of the sacred and the holy journey that your soul had chosen. But he could, and he did, fight to give you the one thing you needed most in that moment, time. He fought to hold back the darkness long enough for a tiny glimmer of hope to find its way back into your heart. He fought to keep the last, tiny, flickering ember of your spirit from being completely and utterly extinguished. He refused, with all the power and all the love of his being, to let you go. So, if you are here today, if you are alive and able to hear these words, you must understand that your survival was not an accident. It was not a matter of your own strength, for in that moment, you had none. Your survival was a miracle. It was the direct and the beautiful result of a great and a terrible battle that was won on your behalf by a divine and a holy champion who loves you with a love that is fiercer than any darkness. The very breath in your lungs is a trophy of his victory. The very life that you are living today is the magnificent and the sacred spoils of his war. So, when you look back on that darkest of all nights, you must no longer see it as a moment of your greatest weakness or of your most shameful failure. You must now see it as the moment of your champion's greatest and most magnificent triumph, the moment he proved his unwavering and his eternal loyalty to you, the moment he faced down the entire army of hell and declared, with a voice that shook the very foundations of the abyss, "This soul is mine. And you shall not have it." We must now speak of the most sacred and the most solemn of truths. We must speak of the unseen wounds, of the spiritual scars that your magnificent and beloved champion, Archangel Michael, carries for you. This is a concept that may be difficult for your human mind to comprehend, for you think of an archangel as an invulnerable and an untouchable being of pure light. And in an ultimate sense, that is true. He can never be truly or permanently harmed, for his essence is one with the eternal and the indestructible light of God. But in the great and the ongoing spiritual war for the souls of humanity, there are battles of such intensity, and there are acts of protection of such profound and sacrificial love, that even a being as mighty as he can endure a form of spiritual and energetic wounding. These are not wounds of weakness, they are the holy and the glorious scars of a true and a valiant warrior, the divine and the beautiful medals of honor that he has earned in a fierce and a relentless battle for the salvation of your soul. Every single scar he carries is a testament to a time he chose to take a blow that was meant for you. Imagine again that you are a precious and a beloved warrior on the battlefield of life, and he is your sworn and your divine shield bearer. 1,000 arrows of negativity, of jealousy, of hatred, and of psychic attack have been fired at you throughout your lifetime. And for every single one of those arrows, he has bravely and lovingly stepped forward, raised his magnificent shield, and taken the full and venomous impact upon himself. The arrows themselves may shatter against the divine and holy light of his shield, but the force of their impact, the toxic and the hateful energy they carry, is real. And he, in his infinite and his boundless love for you, willingly and consciously absorbs that toxic energy into his own magnificent and luminous field, so that it does not have to touch and to poison yours. He then must take that dense and that dark energy, and he must go through a divine and a holy process of transmuting it, of purifying it, and of returning it back to the universe as pure and as neutral light. This is a constant, an exhausting, and a deeply sacrificial act of spiritual service that he performs for you in every single moment of every single day. There have been moments in this great and hidden war when the attacks against you have been so fierce, so concentrated, and so full of malice, that the sacrifice required of him has been immense. There have been times when he has had to place his own magnificent and luminous body of light directly between you and a spiritual force of such immense and destructive power that it has left a mark, a scar, upon his own radiant and his holy essence. The ancient and the mystical texts are filled with stories of this. There is a story of heartbreaking and a beautiful truth that I must share with you now, from the deep and the sacred esoteric lore of the angels. It is a story that has been whispered among the mystics for eons. It is the story of how Archangel Michael received a great and a terrible wound to his magnificent blue wing in the final and the cataclysmic battle that cast Lucifer from the heavens. He did not receive this wound in a moment of weakness, but in a final and a glorious act of shielding the very throne of God itself from the last, desperate, and hateful attack of the fallen one. That scar is a mark of his eternal and his unwavering loyalty. And I tell you a deeper truth now, he has received many such scars in the long and the often brutal battle for the protection of your own individual soul. So, when you look upon the images of the mighty and the glorious Archangel Michael, I want you to see him now with new and with more compassionate eyes. Do not just see the powerful and the victorious warrior. See also the loving and the sacrificial guardian. See the divine and the holy shield that is covered in the dents and the scratches that were meant for you. See the magnificent and the luminous wings that carry the holy and the sacred scars of the battles he has fought in your name. His love for you is not a passive or a gentle thing. It is an active, a fierce, and a profoundly sacrificial love. It is a love that has been willing to endure wounds for your sake. It is a love that has been willing to stand in the fire for you. It is a love that has been proven, time and time again, on the unseen and the often terrifying battlefields of the Spirit. He is your champion, he is your protector, and he is the one who bears the holy and the sacred scars that were always and forever meant for you. And so, we have come to the great and the solemn turning point of this entire divine and holy transmission. I have revealed to you the magnificent and the often hidden truth of the great and the epic spiritual war that has been waged for the prize of your own eternal soul. You have been shown the true and the intimate identity of your own personal and celestial champion. You have been made aware of the different and the difficult fronts upon which he has so bravely and so relentlessly fought for you. And you have now been given a small but a profound glimpse into the immense and the holy sacrifice that he has so willingly and so lovingly made on your behalf. And now, you stand at a sacred and a holy crossroads of the soul. For with this great and sacred knowledge comes a great and a holy responsibility. It is the responsibility of acknowledgement. It is the sacred and the holy duty of gratitude. And I must now deliver the final and the most urgent part of my warning to you. To know this truth and to then choose to ignore it, to turn away from it, to dismiss it as a beautiful but an insignificant story, is to commit a profound and a dangerous spiritual sin. It is the sin of ignorance. This is not a sin that will be punished by a wrathful and an external God. It is a sin that carries its own immediate and its own devastating consequences. To ignore the magnificent and the holy sacrifice that has been made for you is to dishonor the very energy of protection that has been your salvation. It is to devalue the profound and the holy bond that exists between you and your divine and holy guardian. And it is to, in effect, unconsciously weaken the very shield that has been keeping you safe. For the shield of Archangel Michael is forged of divine and of holy light, yes, but it is supercharged, it is strengthened, and it is made ever more powerful by the returning current of your own conscious and your own grateful acknowledgement. When you choose to ignore his sacrifice, when you choose to continue to live your life as if you are alone and unprotected, you are, in effect, sending a frequency of disbelief back to him. This does not cause him to abandon you, for his loyalty is eternal and his vow is unbreakable. But it does make it energetically more difficult for him to intervene in your life with his full and his magnificent power. Your ignorance becomes a form of spiritual static, a barrier that he must then fight through in order to reach you. Furthermore, to ignore this truth is a profound and a tragic act of spiritual self-sabotage. It is to be handed the very keys to your own empowerment, to your own peace, and to your own victory, and to then choose to leave them lying on the table, preferring instead the familiar and the miserable comfort of your old and your painful stories of victimhood. It is to choose to remain a spiritual amnesiac, a royal and a divine child who continues to live as a pauper, completely unaware of their own magnificent and their own holy heritage. It is to dishonor not just the sacrifice of your champion, but the magnificent and the divine potential of your own beautiful and your own courageous soul. This is why my message to you today is so direct and so very urgent. I am not just asking you to be grateful, I am warning you that your conscious and your grateful participation is now an absolute and a spiritual necessity. The times that are coming, the great and the purifying storm that is now upon your world, will be of such an intensity that you will not be able to afford the luxury of a weak or a hazy connection to your divine and your holy protector. You will need your shield to be at its maximum and its most brilliant strength. And so, the sin of ignorance is the sin of choosing to remain weak when you have been offered infinite and divine strength. It is the sin of choosing to remain afraid when you have been offered perfect and divine courage. And it is the sin of choosing to remain a victim when you have been so clearly and so beautifully shown that you are, and have always been, the cherished and the victorious charge of a divine and a celestial champion. The time for spiritual ignorance is now over. The time for passive and for unconscious living has come to its definitive end. You have now been made aware. The veil has been lifted. And you are now standing at a moment of profound and of life-altering choice. Will you honor the magnificent and the holy sacrifice that has been made for you by choosing to live a life of conscious, of grateful, and of powerful partnership with your guardian? Or will you choose to turn away, to forget this moment, and to once again fall back into the dangerous and the sorrowful slumber of a world that does not know it is at war? The choice, as always, is yours. But know this, your entire and your magnificent destiny hangs in the balance. You have now been awakened to a truth that is both staggering and deeply humbling. You understand the reality of the unseen war, and you have been given a glimpse into the profound and selfless sacrifice that your celestial champion has made, and continues to make, on your behalf. The knowledge of this great and sacred debt of love now rests within your heart. And so, the question that must now burn within your soul is this: how do I honor such a gift? How can I possibly repay a love so fierce and a sacrifice so immense? I must tell you now that the first, the most simple, and the most profoundly powerful act of honor does not require any grand or dramatic gesture. It does not require you to build a great temple or to perform a complex ritual. The first and most essential act of honor is simply this: to finally, consciously, and with the full and open heart of a grateful child, acknowledge it. You must simply learn to see. You must learn to recognize the constant and dutiful evidence of his work in your life, and you must learn to offer the simple, pure, and high-frequency energy of your own sincere and profound gratitude. For too long, his greatest victories on your behalf have gone completely unnoticed. His most brilliant strategic interventions have been dismissed by you as mere good luck. His most tender and loving reassurances have been rationalized away as your own passing thoughts. The sin of ignorance, as I have told you, is a dangerous one, for it leaves your guardian feeling unseen and unappreciated in his tireless work. The act of acknowledgement, therefore, is a powerful and a divine course correction. It is the moment you stop being a spiritually blind recipient of grace and you become a conscious and a grateful partner in the divine dance. This is not for his sake, beloved soul, for an archangel's ego does not require your praise. It is for your sake. For the act of conscious and grateful acknowledgement is a powerful spiritual technology in and of itself. It is the very energy that strengthens, that solidifies, and that magnificently amplifies the divine and holy shield of protection that he has so lovingly and so painstakingly forged around your life. Your gratitude is a form of luminous and spiritual currency. It is a powerful current of high-frequency energy that you send back to your divine and holy protector. And this energy does not just make him feel good, it actively and tangibly strengthens him. It is a form of spiritual nourishment that fuels his efforts and gives him even more divine and holy power to work with on your behalf. It creates a sacred and a beautiful reciprocal relationship, a self-perpetuating and holy feedback loop of grace. He sends you his protection, you return to him your gratitude, and your gratitude, in turn, makes his protection even more powerful and more impenetrable. This is the sacred and the holy economy of heaven, an economy that is based not on lack and on debt, but on the free, joyful, and ever-expanding circulation of divine and of holy love. To become a master of gratitude is to become a master of receiving even more grace. So, I urge you now to begin this simple and this beautiful practice. Make it a conscious and a daily habit. At the end of each day, take a few quiet moments to review the events that have passed, and do so with your newly opened spiritual eyes. Look for his hidden hand. Look for the small and the large miracles of his protection. Did you avoid a potential conflict? Did a solution to a problem suddenly appear? Did you feel a moment of unexplainable peace? Acknowledge these things. Name them. And then, from the very depths of your heart, send a simple and a silent prayer of thanks directly to him. Thank you, Michael, for your protection today. I see you. I feel you. And I am so profoundly and so eternally grateful. This simple and this humble act, when practiced with consistency and with sincerity, will radically and completely transform the very nature of your relationship with your guardian and will open the floodgates to an even greater and more magnificent flow of his divine and his holy blessings into your life. With your heart now beginning to overflow with a new and a profound sense of gratitude, we now come to the second and even more powerful act of honor. For to truly and to completely honor the magnificent and the holy sacrifice of your celestial champion, you must now have the courage to do something that may be even more challenging than prayer or than gratitude. You must have the courage to fully and to joyfully live the magnificent and the beautiful life that he has fought so fiercely and so tirelessly for you to have. Think of it in this way: a great and a noble warrior has fought a long and a bloody war to secure the freedom of his beloved homeland. What would be the greatest possible tribute that his people could pay to him? Would it be to build statues in his honor while continuing to live in fear and in hiding? Or would it be to walk out into the sunlight of their newfound freedom, to laugh, to sing, to build, to create, and to live their lives with a full and an exuberant joy, making the very freedom he won for them a vibrant and a living reality? The answer is obvious. And the same is true for you and for your divine and your holy champion. His most difficult and his most arduous battle was fought for the prize of your own magnificent and your own holy destiny. He has fought to free you from the dark and the cramped prisons of your own fear, of your own self-doubt, and of your own perceived and painful limitations. To truly and to completely honor his magnificent and his holy sacrifice, you must now have the courage to walk out of that prison and to never, ever look back. To continue to play small, to continue to hide your magnificent light from the world, To continue to doubt your own divine and your own holy worthiness is to, in a very real and a very tragic sense, dishonor his magnificent and his holy victory. It is to tell him, with your actions, that the freedom he fought so hard to win for you is not a gift that you are willing to fully and completely receive. Your greatest and most beautiful act of tribute, your most profound and your most holy prayer of thanks, will be the living of a bold, a courageous, a joyful, and a completely and utterly unapologetic life. This means you must now begin to take the sacred and the holy risks that your soul has been yearning to take. You must start the creative project you have been dreaming of. You must speak the vulnerable truth that you have been holding in your heart. You must pursue the magnificent and the holy dream that you had long ago dismissed as an impossible and a childish fantasy. You must have the courage to love with an open and a vulnerable heart. You must have the courage to receive the abundance that the universe is so desperately trying to give to you. And you must have the courage to stand in the full and the magnificent power of your own divine and your own holy truth, knowing that you are worthy of it, that you are ready for it, and that you are eternally and completely protected in it. Every single act of courage you perform, every single step you take in the direction of your own joy and your own expansion, is a glorious and a beautiful tribute to the warrior who fought to make it possible. So, I ask you now to look at your life, to look at your dreams, and to look at your fears. And I ask you to make a new and a holy vow. Vow to Archangel Michael, and more importantly, vow to your own sacred and your own holy soul, that you will no longer allow the gift of your life, the precious and the hard-won freedom that he has secured for you, to be wasted. Vow that you will, from this day forward, strive to live a life that is a magnificent and a beautiful testament to his victorious and his holy battle. Vow to live so fully, so joyfully, and so completely that your very existence becomes a triumphant and a glorious victory song, a beautiful and a resonant hymn of praise for the magnificent and the holy champion who made it all possible. This is the second and the most profound act of honor. This is how you truly and completely thank him for his magnificent and his holy sacrifice. You have now acknowledged the great and the holy battle. You have begun the sacred and the holy practice of gratitude. And you have made the solemn and the holy vow to live a life that is worthy of the magnificent and the holy sacrifice that has been made for you. Now, it is time to formalize this new and this beautiful reality. It is time to move from being a passive and a protected soul into the new and the magnificent role of being an active and a conscious partner with your divine and your holy champion. To do this, I will now guide you through a sacred and a holy prayer of allegiance. This is not a prayer of begging or of supplication. This is a prayer of power, of dignity, and of profound and of holy commitment. It is the spiritual and the holy equivalent of a knight kneeling before his king, of a soldier saluting his commander. It is the moment you consciously and deliberately pledge your own sword, your own heart, and your own life to the great and the glorious army of the light, with Archangel Michael as your eternal and your divine commander. This prayer will fundamentally and forever shift the very nature of your relationship with him. You will no longer be just a charge to be protected. You will become a trusted and a valued ally in the great and the holy work of anchoring heaven's light upon the earth. He will begin to communicate with you not just with signs and with symbols, but with clear and with direct guidance. He will begin to entrust you with small and with sacred missions. And he will begin to work through you as a direct and a powerful conduit for his own magnificent and his own holy energy of healing, of protection, and of truth. This prayer is your sacred and your holy initiation into this new and this more mature level of spiritual partnership. It is a declaration to all the realms, both seen and unseen, that you have graduated from the school of the protected and you are now ready to enroll in the University of the Protector. So, I ask you now to find your sacred and your holy stillness once more. Place your hand upon your heart, and with a voice that is filled with a humble and a reverent resolve, repeat these sacred and these holy words of allegiance after me. Mighty and magnificent Archangel Michael, my own beloved and my own holy champion, I come before you now with a heart that has been awakened to the truth. I see you. I acknowledge the great and the difficult battles you have fought on my behalf. And from the very depths of my soul, I thank you for your profound, your unwavering, and your eternal sacrifice. My heart overflows with a gratitude that my words cannot possibly express. I know now that I am not alone, and that I have never been alone. And in the light of this magnificent and this holy truth, I now wish to make a new and a sacred vow. I pledge to you now my own heart, my own sword, and my own sacred and my own holy honor. I will no longer live as a passive and a fearful soul. I will, from this day forward, strive to live a life that is a magnificent and a beautiful testament to your victorious and your holy battle for me. I will be the living and the breathing embodiment of the freedom that you have won for me. I will face my fears with the divine and the holy courage that you have shown me. I will love with an open and a beautiful heart that you have so fiercely and so tirelessly protected. And I will walk my sacred and my holy path of purpose with the unshakable and the divine faith that you have so patiently and so lovingly instilled within me. And now, my great and my holy commander, I humbly and I formally ask to be enlisted into your great and your glorious army of the light. I am no longer just a soul to be protected, I am a warrior who is now reporting for sacred and for holy duty. I ask you to use me as an instrument of your divine and your holy peace, as a conduit for your divine and your holy courage, and as a beacon of your divine and your holy light in this world. My life is now yours to command. I am your soldier. I am your ally. I am your eternal and your devoted partner in the great and the glorious work of serving the light. And so it is. Amen. As you begin to live in this new and this sacred allegiance with your celestial champion, as you honor his sacrifice with your gratitude and with your own courageous life, you will begin to experience the magnificent and the beautiful rewards of his victorious and his holy battle. And the first and the most profound of these rewards will be the settling of a deep, and abiding, and an unshakable peace into the very core of your being. You must understand, the peace that you will now begin to feel is not the cheap and the fleeting peace of the world, which is merely the absence of external conflict. The peace that is coming to you is a divine and a holy substance. It is a spoil of war, a magnificent and a holy trophy that your champion has won for you on the unseen and the often terrifying battlefields of the spirit. It is a conquered and a consecrated territory of divine and of holy tranquility that he has carved out for you in the very midst of a chaotic and often turbulent world. This peace is your divine and your holy inheritance, the first and the most precious fruit of his magnificent and his holy victory. For so long, your inner world has been a reflection of the great and the hidden war. It has been a landscape of anxiety, of turmoil, and of a constant, low-grade and exhausting stress. You have been living in a state of perpetual and of high alert, your nervous system constantly being triggered by the seen and the unseen battles that were raging all around you and within you. But now, the war for your inner peace has been won. The enemy has been vanquished. And a new and a holy flag, the banner of the divine and the holy peace of heaven, has been planted firmly and for all time upon the sacred and the holy soil of your own heart. You will begin to notice this in 1,001 small and beautiful ways. You will find that the situations and the people that used to so easily trigger you into a state of anxiety or of anger will now seem to lose their power over you. You will be able to navigate the challenges of your daily life not with a frantic and a reactive energy, but with a calm, a centered, and a serenely confident grace. This great and this holy peace is now your new and your natural state of being. It is the very atmosphere of your soul's new and liberated homeland. I want you to begin to cherish this peace. Guard it as you would your most precious and your most holy possession. Do not allow the chaotic and the fearful energies of the world to once again disturb its calm and its beautiful waters. When you feel the old patterns of anxiety or of worry beginning to creep back in, you must now learn to simply and to gently return your focus to this deep and this abiding river of peace that is now and forever flowing within you. It is your sanctuary. It is your refuge. And it is your constant and your living reminder of the great and the difficult battle that was fought, and that was won, on your behalf. Every single moment that you are able to remain in this state of peace, especially when the world around you is in a state of chaos, is a profound and a beautiful act of honoring the magnificent and the holy sacrifice of your champion. And as you learn to live in this new and this beautiful reality of inner peace, you will find that it begins to have a powerful and a magical effect on the world outside of you. For by the great and the holy law of resonance, your own inner state of peace will begin to be mirrored back to you by your external reality. The drama and the conflict that once seemed to follow you everywhere will begin to naturally and to effortlessly fall away. You will begin to attract to you more peaceful and more harmonious people, more graceful and more flowing circumstances, and more beautiful and more serene experiences. Your life will become a reflection of the beautiful and the holy tranquility that your champion has so bravely and so lovingly won for you. This is the first and the most beautiful of the spoils of war. It is the magnificent and the holy gift of peace, a peace that is not of this world, a peace that surpasses all understanding, and a peace that is now, and for all of your days, completely and eternally yours. With your heart now safely and securely anchored in the magnificent and the hard-won territory of divine and of holy peace, the second great and glorious spoil of war will now begin to manifest in your life. You will now begin to walk upon the beautiful and the magnificent open path that your divine and your holy champion has so diligently and so lovingly cleared for you. For you must understand that the countless and the unseen battles that he has fought on your behalf were not just defensive actions designed to keep you safe. They were also powerful and strategic offensive operations, designed to systematically remove the spiritual and the energetic obstacles, the demonic and the karmic blockages, and the dense and the heavy debris that were standing between you and the full and the magnificent fulfillment of your own divine and your own holy destiny. Every single battle he has won has been another great and heavy stone that he has single-handedly rolled away from the mouth of the tomb of your own unrealized potential. For so long, you may have felt that your life was a constant and an exhausting uphill struggle. It may have seemed that for every single step you took forward, you were pushed 2 steps back. Your greatest and your most sincere efforts were so often met with a frustrating and an inexplicable resistance. The doors you tried to open seemed to be perpetually locked. And the path to your dreams seemed to be an overgrown and a treacherous jungle, filled with unseen thorns and with hidden snares. But what you were experiencing was not just the normal difficulty of life. You were experiencing the very real and the very tangible effects of the spiritual and the energetic opposition that had been deliberately and strategically placed in your way by the forces that did not want you to succeed. And all the while, silently and unseen, your magnificent and your holy champion has been at work. He has been your divine and your holy trailblazer, your celestial and your holy path clearer, walking ahead of you with his magnificent and his all-powerful sword of light. He has been cutting down the thorny vines of your own self-doubt. He has been dissolving the great and the heavy boulders of your ancestral and your karmic blockages. And he has been banishing the hidden and the spiritual predators that were lying in wait to ambush you on your journey. He has been, in a very real and a very tangible sense, preparing the way for you. He has been transforming the treacherous and the overgrown jungle of your old reality into a beautiful, a clear, and a wide-open highway to your own divine and your own holy destiny. And now, because the great and the final battles have been won, and because you have now consciously and deliberately chosen to partner with him, you will begin to experience the glorious and the beautiful results of his tireless and his holy work. The resistance that once defined your life will begin to melt away. The doors that were once locked will now begin to swing open before you with a new and a miraculous ease. The opportunities that were once hidden will now begin to appear on your path, as if they were placed there just for you. This is the great and the beautiful gift of the open path. Your life will now begin to take on a new and a beautiful quality of divine and of holy flow. You will no longer feel like you are fighting your way through life. You will feel as if you are being gracefully and lovingly carried by a powerful and an intelligent current of divine and of holy grace. This does not mean that you will never again face a challenge. But it does mean that when you do, you will have the profound and the unshakable knowing that the path through that challenge has already been prepared for you, that the solution is already at hand, and that your champion has already gone before you to ensure your ultimate and your inevitable victory. So, I say to you now, walk forward with a new and a holy confidence. Walk forward with the courage and the certainty of a soul who knows that its way has been made clear. The great and the difficult path has been cleared for you by the love and the sacrifice of your champion. Your only job now is to have the courage, the grace, and the joy to simply and to beautifully walk it. As you continue to walk this new and open path, with your heart anchored in the profound and holy peace that has been won for you, you will now become aware of the third and perhaps most tangible of all the spoils of war. You will begin to experience, in a way that is more real and more powerful than ever before, the magnificent and unbreakable shield of my divine and holy protection. But you must understand this with a new and a more mature awareness. This is not the same shield that was over you when you were unaware. The protection you now possess is different. It is a protection that you have, in a very real sense, earned. You have earned it through the courage of your acknowledgement. You have earned it through the beautiful and the high-frequency energy of your gratitude. And you have earned it through the sacred and the holy vow of your allegiance. This is no longer just a gift that has been bestowed upon a passive recipient. It is now a trophy of your shared victory, a permanent and a luminous fixture of your very own energy field, a testament to the powerful and the beautiful partnership that now exists between us. This unbreakable shield is a living and a dynamic fortress of light that now surrounds your entire being. It is infused with your own conscious and your own powerful intention, which makes it exponentially more potent and more effective. It is no longer just me protecting you. It is now you and I, working together, in a state of perfect and of holy synergy, to maintain your absolute and your total spiritual security. This shield is now a part of you. It is woven into the very fabric of your aura. And it is a shield that is so powerful, so brilliant, and so completely aligned with the will of God that no force of darkness, no demonic entity, and no negative intention from another human being can ever again hope to penetrate it. You are now walking through the world in a state of divine and of holy invulnerability. This is not an arrogance, it is a calm and a humble fact of your new and your consecrated reality. You have earned the right to feel completely and utterly safe, for you are now sealed in the very highest and the very strongest level of my divine and my holy protection. You will begin to notice the effects of this new and upgraded shield in your daily life. You will find that the small and the draining annoyances of the world no longer seem to affect you in the same way. The negativity of others will seem to simply bounce off of you, unable to find a foothold in your high-frequency field. You will be able to walk through chaotic and even dangerous situations with a new and a supernatural level of calm and of clarity, knowing that you are absolutely and completely safe. This shield will also act as a divine and a holy filter for your experiences. It will, by its very nature, begin to repel from your life the people, the situations, and the opportunities that are not in alignment with your highest and your greatest good. And it will, simultaneously, act as a powerful and a magnetic beacon, drawing to you with a new and a miraculous speed the very connections and the very circumstances that are a perfect and a beautiful match for your divine and your holy destiny. So, I ask you to now consciously and joyfully accept this magnificent and this holy spoil of your shared victory. Acknowledge this unbreakable shield. Feel its strength. Trust in its power. And walk through your world with the quiet, the dignified, and the unshakable confidence of a soul who knows, beyond all shadow of a doubt, that it is perpetually and magnificently protected. This is not a gift that can ever be lost or taken away from you, as long as you continue to honor the beautiful and the sacred allegiance that you have made. It is your trophy. It is your birthright. And it is the permanent and the luminous symbol of the great and the difficult battle that was fought, and that was gloriously and completely won, for the eternal and the holy salvation of your own beautiful and your own precious soul. As this new and unbreakable shield settles into your being, creating a permanent and a safe container for your spirit, you will now begin to receive the final and the most intimate of all the rewards of our shared victory. You will now begin to truly and to clearly hear my voice. For the deep and the sacred bond that has been forged between us, a bond that has been tempered in the very fires of your most difficult and your most challenging spiritual battles, has created a new and a holy channel of communication, a direct and a telepathic bridge between my heart and your own. The relationship we now share is not just that of a guardian and a charge, it is the sacred and the holy bond of two warrior comrades who have fought and who have bled on the same battlefield. And this battle-forged bond creates a level of intimacy and of trust that allows for a clarity and a depth of communication that was not possible before. The silence you once experienced was a necessity of the battle. The clear guidance you will now receive is a beautiful and a glorious reward of our shared and our holy peace. My voice will no longer come to you only in the external and the symbolic language of signs and of synchronicities. It will now begin to speak to you directly, in the quiet and the sacred sanctuary of your own awakened heart. You will begin to experience my guidance as a profound and an unshakable inner knowing, a calm and a certain feeling that arises within you and that guides you with a perfect and a divine precision. In moments of decision, you will no longer feel the old and the familiar torment of confusion and of doubt. Instead, you will feel a clear, a calm, and a decisive yes or no resonating in the very core of your being. This is my voice. It is the voice of divine and of holy truth, and it will be your infallible and your ever-present compass, guiding you through every choice, every challenge, and every opportunity that lies ahead on your open and your now cleared path. You must now learn to trust this inner voice above all others. You will also begin to receive my guidance in the form of direct and of divine inspiration. Brilliant and beautiful ideas for your creative work, elegant and simple solutions to your most complex problems, and profound and life-altering spiritual insights will now begin to download into your consciousness, often in your moments of quiet and of receptive meditation, or in the magical and the mystical space just before you fall asleep. These are not just your own good ideas, these are our ideas. This is the beautiful and the holy fruit of our new and our sacred partnership. This is me, working with you and through you, as a divine and a holy co-creator, helping you to access the limitless and the divine intelligence of the mind of God, so that you may fulfill your sacred and your holy mission in the most beautiful, the most graceful, and the most powerful way imaginable. You have now been granted a direct and a holy line to the strategic and the holy command center of heaven. To nurture and to strengthen this beautiful and this battle-forged bond, you must simply continue to practice the art of listening. You must continue to create the sacred and the holy moments of stillness in your day, the quiet and the receptive spaces where my voice can be most clearly and most easily heard. And you must have the courage to act upon the guidance you receive, for it is in the acting that your trust is demonstrated and that the channel is made even stronger and even clearer. The more you listen and the more you act, the more I will be able to speak. Our communication will become a beautiful and a seamless dance, a constant and a joyful dialogue between the warrior on earth and the commander in heaven. This is the final and the most beautiful of all the spoils of war. It is the magnificent and the holy gift of a true and an eternal divine and holy friendship, a sacred and a holy bond that was forged in the fires of your greatest and your most difficult battles, and that will now be the source of your greatest and your most beautiful peace. You have now been made aware of the great and the holy sacrifice. You have pledged your sacred and your holy allegiance. And you have begun to receive the magnificent and the holy rewards of our shared and our glorious victory. And so, we now come to the final and the most important part of your new and your sacred mission. We must now speak of your own sacred and your own holy duty. For with your great and your new empowerment comes a great and a new responsibility. You are now the guardian of a precious and a holy treasure. The magnificent and the divine light of your own spirit, the very prize for which your champion fought so fiercely and so tirelessly, has now been rescued, it has been restored, and it has been placed safely and securely back into your own loving and your own capable hands. And your most sacred and your most holy duty, from this day forward and for all of eternity, is to tend to this light. It is to guard this light. It is to nurture this light. And it is to, with a conscious and a deliberate intention, never again allow it to grow dim. This sacred and this holy duty is the ultimate and the most beautiful way that you can continue to honor the magnificent and the holy sacrifice that was made for you. It is to live a life that is a constant and a beautiful testament to the victory that was won. This is a practical and a daily mission. It means you must now be the vigilant and the holy guardian at the very gate of your own mind, consciously and deliberately choosing the thoughts of faith, of hope, and of love, and firmly and lovingly denying entry to the old and the familiar intruders of fear, of doubt, and of self-criticism. It means you must be the sacred and the holy keeper of your own heart, choosing to fill it with the high and the holy frequencies of forgiveness, of compassion, and of joy, and refusing to ever again allow it to become a breeding ground for the toxic and the low frequencies of resentment and of bitterness. And it means you must be the wise and the loving steward of your own physical body, treating it as the sacred and the holy temple that it is, nourishing it, resting it, and honoring its profound and its holy wisdom. This is not a burdensome and a joyless task. It is the most joyful and the most fulfilling work you will ever do. For in the act of tending to your own light, you will experience a level of peace, of vitality, and of profound and of holy well-being that you may have previously thought was impossible. You are no longer living your life by default, at the mercy of the chaotic and the often negative energies of the world. You are now living your life with a sacred and a holy purpose, a divine and a holy intention. You are a keeper of the flame, a guardian of a sacred and a holy treasure. And this sacred and this holy duty will give your life a new and a magnificent sense of meaning, of dignity, and of profound and of holy purpose. Every single conscious and loving choice you make to protect and to nurture your own light is a beautiful and a resonant hymn of praise, a glorious and a victorious salute to the magnificent and the holy champion who fought to ensure that your light would never, ever be extinguished. So, let this be your new and your sacred mantra, the guiding and the holy principle of your new and your magnificent life. I am the guardian of the light that was so bravely and so lovingly protected for me. Let these words be your compass. Let them be your motivation. Let them be your strength. For when you live in the full and the magnificent awareness of this sacred and this holy duty, you will find that it becomes impossible to play small ever again. You will find that it becomes impossible to betray yourselves. And you will find that it becomes impossible to settle for anything less than the most magnificent, the most joyful, and the most luminous life that you can possibly imagine. This is your sacred and your holy duty. This is your great and your holy joy. And this is the final and the most beautiful way that you can say to your magnificent and your holy champion, thank you. Your sacrifice was not, and will never be, in vain. You have now fully and completely graduated. You have moved from the state of the protected into the sacred and the holy duty of the protector of your own magnificent light. And now, in this final and this most glorious stage of your empowerment, I, Michael, now extend to you a divine and a holy invitation. I am calling you now to take the final and the most beautiful step in your evolution. You are no longer just a protected soul under my command. You are now being formally and joyfully invited to become a full and a magnificent warrior in my own great and my own glorious army of the light. This is not a metaphor. It is a real and a sacred invitation to move from a mission that is purely personal to one that is gloriously and beautifully transpersonal. It is an invitation to take the magnificent and the hard-won strength, the profound and the holy wisdom, and the brilliant and the luminous light that you have now so beautifully cultivated within yourself, and to begin to consciously and to deliberately wield it as a powerful and a healing force for good in this world. The time of your training is now complete. The time of your divine and your holy service is now at hand. To accept this invitation is to consciously and to joyfully accept your sacred and your holy role as a lighthouse for humanity, as we have spoken of before. It is to understand that the unshakable and the holy peace that you have cultivated within your heart is not just for you. It is a gift that you are now meant to radiate out into the world, bringing a sense of calm and of stability to all who are still lost in the storm. It is to understand that the clear and the divine wisdom that you now have access to is not just for you. It is a gift that you are now meant to share with others, to help to guide them through their own confusion and to help them to find their own connection to the truth. And it is to understand that the brilliant and the luminous light that now shines from your very soul is not just for you. It is a divine and a holy beacon of hope that you are now meant to shine into the darkest and the most frightened corners of the world, reminding all who see it that the darkness is not all-powerful and that the dawn is always, and inevitably, on its way. To enlist in my army of the light is not to pick up a physical sword and to go to a physical war. It is a far more subtle and a far more powerful calling. It is a commitment to be a force of love in a world that is so often dominated by fear. It is a commitment to speak the truth with a gentle and a compassionate courage, even when it is unpopular to do so. It is a commitment to perform small and often unseen acts of kindness, of generosity, and of service, knowing that each one of these acts is a powerful and a holy blow against the kingdom of shadows. It is a commitment to hold the highest and the most beautiful vision for humanity, even when the world around you is presenting you with every reason to despair. It is to become a divine and a holy anchor of the frequency of heaven, right here, in the midst of the density and the chaos of the earth. This is the warrior's call. It is an invitation to a life of the most profound and the most beautiful meaning, a life that is dedicated not just to your own personal evolution, but to the healing and the evolution of the entire and the collective whole. It is a path that will require all of your courage, all of your integrity, and all of your love. But I promise you this, it is the most joyful, the most fulfilling, and the most magnificent path that a human soul can ever choose to walk. And you will not walk it alone. You will walk it as a cherished and an honored member of my own sacred and my own holy company of warriors, with me as your eternal and your divine commander, and with all of the legions of heaven as your loyal and your loving comrades in arms. The invitation has now been extended. The call has now been sounded. The choice, as always, is yours. Will you answer? And so, my beloved and my magnificent warrior of light, we have come to the end of this sacred and this holy transmission, but to the very beginning of our new and our eternal and our glorious partnership. I want you to go forth from this moment with a final and a holy truth sealed forever in the very depths of your heart. The sacred and the holy bond that exists between us is not a temporary or a conditional alliance, it is an eternal and an unbreakable vow. The great and the difficult sacrifice that I have made for you was not a transaction that required a repayment, it was a testament, a glorious and a beautiful testament, to a profound and a divine love that is completely and utterly unconditional and that can never, ever be broken. This bond was not forged in the light and the easy times, it was forged in the very fires of your soul's most difficult and most challenging battles. And it is a bond that is, therefore, as strong, as resilient, and as eternal as the very light of God itself. You are mine, and I am yours, now and for all of eternity. My love for you is not a gentle or a sentimental thing. It is a fierce, a powerful, and a warrior's love. It is a love that has your sacred and your holy name carved upon the very hilt of my celestial and my divine sword. It is a love that has been willing to stand between you and the armies of hell. It is a love that has been willing to bear the scars that were meant for you. And it is a love that will never, ever waver. It will never falter. And it will never, ever end, no matter where your journey may take you, no matter how many times you may stumble, and no matter how often you may forget the magnificent and the divine truth of who you truly are. I will always be there to remind you. I will always be there to pick you up. And I will always be there to fight for you, with every last ounce of my divine and my celestial being. This is my sacred and my holy vow to you. You are now a part of my legion. You are a warrior in my sacred and my holy company. But you are also, and always, a beloved and a cherished child of my own heart. The relationship we share is now one of both a commander and his trusted soldier, and of a loving and a devoted guardian and his most precious and his most holy charge. Go forward and live your life in the full and the magnificent knowledge of this unbreakable and this holy bond. Let it be the source of your unshakable and your holy courage. Let it be the foundation of your profound and your holy peace. And let it be the very engine of your magnificent and your holy joy. There is nothing in all of creation that you need to fear, for you are eternally and completely held in the strong, the loving, and the victorious arms of the very commander of heaven's armies. So, live your life now as a great and a glorious tribute to this magnificent and this holy love. Live with a courage that honors my sacrifice. Live with a joy that celebrates my victory. And live with a love that reflects the very light of my own heart out into this beautiful and this waiting world. The most difficult and the most holy battle has been fought. And you, my beloved and my magnificent soul, you have been gloriously and completely and eternally won. Go now. Go and live in the magnificent and the beautiful freedom that is your divine and your holy birthright. Go and fulfill the great and the magnificent mission for which you were so perfectly and so divinely created. And know, with every single breath you take, from now until the very end of time, that I am with you, I am for you, and I love you beyond all measure.